My mom announced she's remarrying my ex-stepfather, and instead of celebrating, I burst into tears. My mom married Caleb's dad when I was 22, which made us step-siblings for 4 years until their ugly divorce tore both families apart. That was 3 years ago, and I thought we'd moved on. But there I was at Christmas dinner at Caleb's dad's house when my mother walked through the front door. Before I could ask why she was there, Caleb's dad stood up and clinked his glass. "Everyone, we have an announcement. Linda and I have been seeing each other again for the past 6 months, and we've decided to get married on New Year's Eve." The room exploded with cheers. I felt like the walls were closing in. My hands were shaking when I spoke up. "Mom, I don't think this is a good idea. The divorce nearly destroyed you." She smiled and patted my hand. "That was a long time ago, honey." I pressed harder, and my voice cracked. "You cried for 6 months straight. You told me you'd never trust him again as long as you lived." Caleb's dad shifted uncomfortably, but my mom just laughed it off. "People change, sweetheart. We've both grown so much." I could feel my heart pounding in my ears as I tried another angle. "He cheated on you. Have you already forgotten? He was texting another woman for months behind your back." The table went dead silent. My mom's smile disappeared. "That's not something we need to discuss at Christmas dinner." Caleb's dad cleared his throat and said they'd worked through all of that in therapy. I kept going because something inside me was screaming. What about his temper? Remember when he threw that vase at the wall during the fight about the credit cards? You called me crying at 2 in the morning. My mom's sister slammed her hand on the table. "That is enough," but I couldn't stop. "And what about the tax implications? Remarrying after a divorce is a legal nightmare. Have you even talked to a lawyer? Because depending on your bracket, it could cost you thousands of dollars. And I just think someone needs to be practical here." Caleb's cousin let out a disbelieving laugh. "Did you seriously just bring up tax brackets right now?" My voice was getting higher and faster. "I'm just saying marriage is a legal contract, and you can't just rush into it because you feel like it. There are consequences, real consequences that nobody at this table seems to care about." Caleb spoke up, and his voice was calm and measured. "Hey, take a breath. You're spiraling." I turned to him with desperate eyes, waiting for him to back me up, but he just looked at me with something like concern. My mom stood up from the table with tears streaming down her face. "What is wrong with you tonight? I have never seen you act like this. Do you hate me being happy that much?" Everyone was staring. Caleb's grandmother looked frightened. His cousin was whispering to her husband. His dad had his arm around my crying mother, and Caleb was watching me like I was a stranger. My mom's voice broke when she spoke again. "I want to know what's really going on, because this isn't about money and it isn't about the past. So what is it? Why do you care so much whether I marry this man?" The whole room waited in suffocating silence. I looked at Caleb one more time, begging him with my eyes to help me, to say something, to tell them the truth. He looked away. "Because Caleb and I have been together for 2 years." The words came out barely above a whisper. "We fell in love after the divorce, when we weren't step-siblings anymore. And if you get married, it's over for us." Nobody moved. My mom's face went slack with confusion. Caleb's dad looked between us like he was trying to solve a puzzle that didn't make sense. Then Caleb stood up slowly and walked over to my mom. He put his hand gently on her shoulder, and his voice was soft and sad when he spoke. "I'm so sorry you're hearing this. She struggled with this for a really long time, and I didn't know how to tell anyone." He turned to look at me with what seemed like genuine compassion. "We were never together. I've tried to set clear boundaries so many times, but she keeps insisting there's something between us that just isn't there. I didn't want to embarrass her by saying anything publicly, but I honestly think she needs professional help." He shook his head slowly, like it pained him to say it. "I care about her. I do. But this isn't healthy." The pity on everyone's faces was unbearable. My mom stood up and wrapped her arms around Caleb and started apologizing for putting him in this position. She promised to get me into therapy first thing after the holidays. Caleb's dad said quietly that maybe I should go home and get some rest and clear my head. My own mother thanked Caleb for being so patient and understanding about my situation while I stood there unable to form words. I walked out into the snow without my coat. My phone buzzed before I reached the sidewalk. Text from Caleb. "I'm sorry, I had to. Please never contact me again." I deleted the message and kept walking with my hand pressed against my stomach. I don't even know how I'm supposed to tell him about the baby now.